Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we're going to have a quick tropical update out in the Atlantic. We also do have a storm out in the Pacific. They may have a threat to Hawaii. But let's go ahead and get started with the Atlantic first. Um, so, as you can tell already, both of these areas from National Hurricane Center has increased their probabilities, especially for this one here in the main development region. They have an 80% chance for the next 48 hours and for the next 5 days. Yesterday it was 20%. Now we've been upgraded to 80%. This storm here also has been upgraded. Well, it was also a 20%, I believe. 40 in the next 48 hours is a 30%, and then in the next 5 days it's a 40% medium chance. So both of these storms would be the ones to watch. And like I said yesterday, the one that was just off the coast of Texas is now gone. So, yeah. Let's quickly talk about the Eastern Pacific very quickly. And we got Tropical Storm Douglas here, but 65-mile-per-hour winds as of right now. And as you can see here, it's expected to become a hurricane. And you can see where it's going. It's heading right towards Hawaii. And that'd be something to really watch for. That'd be getting there things like early next week, Sunday afternoon into Monday of next week. So that'll be a system to really keep an eye on. Forecast may change later down that time frame, but that's just something I wanted to mention about very quickly out in the Eastern Pacific. You also got some other areas to watch as well. You even got a post-tropical cyclone 7 there, another area to watch down there. So let's go to my forecast here for both of these here. So we'll start off with the Gulf here, which that's probably everyone will be watching very closely here in the United States. So the chances for development, the only thing I changed is the percentage for the next 2 days is a 30%, still maintaining a 50% chance. Really, the problem is I don't think the system here would get that organized. Models are still indicating may still be disorganized, and they also not call this as an invest, so we do not have any like hurricane models, tropical models to show you guys with this until the National Hurricane Center calls this as an invest, which I will say it will become an invest in somewhat number L. But yeah, we'll see about that. But one one of those things that everybody's been talking about is this system right here. And here's my forecast for right now. So for the next 2 days, um, I really do expect this to become a tropical storm. It's an 80% chance for the next 2 days. However, the next 5 days, especially like in the next 4 or 5 days, we're looking at a 50%. So, and I'll show you guys about that in just a moment. Uh, well, actually, right now. We'll talk about that big system there first. So let's back this up. This is the GFS 6Z. Let's actually move on to 12Z with this here. And you can see here's your Invest 99L right there. And also, by the way, on satellite, it's getting pretty organized. Let me tell you that. It's really starting to get organized there. Another thing to mention about this system here is what the National Hurricane Center says. Regardless of development during the next couple of days, less favorable conditions should limit any additional development by the weekend. Yeah, and I'll give you guys the reason about that right now. So here's your Invest 99L. Probably going to be a tropical storm um, later. You can see here it's kind of hanging around about 1,007 millibars to 1,010 millibars. Not that strong of a low pressure. As you can see there, as it kind of gets closer to the islands, it kind of starts to die out a little bit. It does get a little bit of dry air, uh, kind of start to get near the circulation of that storm. And actually, some of that dry air actually starts to die out just a little bit, and even the system is gone too. So let's see. Let's actually look into the wind shear. So we still got dry air in place that we need to keep an eye on. That'd be one thing that can really have a limitation with this system and kind of bring down its intensity. Let's bring this back. This is the actual 12Z run right here. And as you can see here, here's your low right here. Wind shear, the higher the numbers, the more likely it could tear apart for a system. The lower the numbers, the more favorable environment it is for a tropical system. And as you can see here, as it kind of gets closer to the islands, look at here. You got some wind shear kind of fighting against the system here. And what's that going to do is it's actually going to really kill it. And as you can see there, look at there, it's gone. So really the wind shear and the dry air are the big players for that system as of right now. And that's why the confidence on this here is low. Just like on the last video, really mills more of dry air later on, but the system has really got organized with it, and we could take a look at it here. And as you can see here, we're going to have to let this, yeah, let's look into visible high res. So let's try to get this end here and let it load. And as you can see here, here's your circulation going on right in here. You got pretty nice circular motion going on. So that's it's really starting to get pretty well organized. And that's why that we have up to chances for the system to really become a tropical storm. And here's a different view here. Uh, Long wave IRR in 2 kilometers, 2 km, and let this load in here. And as you can see here, here's your the center of the lows right here. And we are starting to get some more thunderstorm activity starting to circle around it. So it's really starting to get organized, and it might become a tropical storm maybe tomorrow. We'll see about that. Just depends how rapid it could disable. Uh, Rapidly intensification, see if it'll happen. Maybe. We'll see about that. Let's move back here. We're going to look at some hurricane models here. So let's take a look into the track here. Not really much of a problem with the track here. That's an outlier right here. More than likely not going to happen. But as you can see here, the general track here of this system is going to hit some of these islands here. So those will be the threat for right now. But the biggest thing of things we really start to see changing is the intensity guidance. And as you can see here, it's pretty much half and half at this point. And since we have started to see since we're starting to see the system really start to get a little organized, we'll start to see more and more of these models start to get into the tropical storm range. Now, highly doubt this will become a Category 4 hurricane. Highly doubt this will become a Category 3 hurricane. And I have some doubts of becoming a hurricane. Those would be kind of some outliers, especially if these models up here definitely overdone. But you can see there's a little bit of a battle between the models, really depending on how much wind shear there could be involved with the storm and how much dry air there will be with the storm. Those would be the big players. So there's still a lot of uncertainties to the forecast, and I don't really have a lot of confidence of this becoming a hurricane, but I do have enough confidence that this will become a tropical storm in the next 48 hours. Let's move on to the next system here. So your system at this point will be somewhere like right in here, just nearby Key West, and it'll be moving northwest. As we kind of continue on here, you can see a little bit of circulation going on there. And as you can see, it kind of moves to the, it actually kind of slows down just a little bit, and then it kind of makes landfall from there. And you can see here, not a lot of wind shear doesn't really get involved with the system. At least in the northeast side, there is wind shear to deal with, so we're going to keep an eye on that. And this is the moisture here, and there's not really a problem with the moisture at all. There's plenty of moisture, there's not really any dry air to deal with, so this storm here doesn't have any problem with any dry air getting involved. So this storm here has a better environment. The problem is it doesn't seem like it's not really going to get that organized. So that's going to be the big issue with that system there. It's just not really going to get that well organized. But if it kind of stays stationary over the Gulf of Mexico, which it's very warm, we're talking about sea surface temperatures up to 29, 28, 30 degrees Celsius, which is uh, in the mid to upper 80s in Fahrenheit. you know, it can it can start to intensify, and that's something we do not really want to happen with this system here, especially if it's going to stay stationary over the Gulf of Mexico for a little bit, then head straight into Texas and Louisiana. Let's move on to GFS here. Let's see what its prediction on this here. Now, the European model's not really doing a good job with this system so far, but it seems like the chances for a tropical storm chances is really starting to ramp up with this system and this system. It actually has this system that's over here right now, 70 to 80% chance. Now, I can't show you guys because it's on a different website. I got this information from people on Twitter, showing casing this, and even a couple YouTubers as well. But I can't show you guys that on here, though. So let's talk about the system here. So as you can see here, there's your low right there. And as we kind of continue on here, kind of goes away. But if we kind of go to the winds here, those pink colors kind of indicate 30-mile-per-hour winds with it. So it's really indicating winds up to 30 miles per hour, which is a strong tropical depression and even probably a weak tropical storm. Now, you can see here as we kind of continue here, kind of gains a little bit of strength later on. There's a little bit later in the day on Wednesday. And here we go into Thursday. The low is still sticking around, but it seems like it's not that organized. Yeah, it's not really that organized at that time. It doesn't have a lot of rain with it because of dry air is getting involved, and it really starts to shred out before it reaches to the islands there. Let's go back to the European model. And this model here is not really doing a good job at all. As you can see here, it is showing indicating a little bit stronger, more of a tropical storm. And as you can see there, it's actually kind of starting to keep it up now. It's actually really started to change. So at that point, it's a tropical storm, and then again, it starts to shred out. Now, let's take a look into the... Oh, wait a minute, we are not looking... Oh, never mind, guys. I'm sorry. Here we go. We were looking into the wrong level of the atmosphere. And that's where we indicate the wind shear. And even though you saw up there, there is some wind shear going on the northern inside of this. Just like the GFS model was showing. So let's back this up. Let's turn on the winds here. And as you can see here, it's not really that strong at all. Probably wind showing 20 to 25 miles per hour, maybe 30 miles per hour, and then it just gets shredded, just like that. So now if we go back to GFS, a little bit of a server track there, but again, kind of similar scenario. It just dies, it kind of dies out. It seems like it continues on a little bit further. And you can see there, as it passes the islands, it pretty much dies out. Really, the primary threat for this storm for right now for the islands is going to be heavy rain. You can see some tropical rains, probably more of 1 to 2 inches. But let's take a look at those rainfall amounts from this system here. See how much we got here. Really, the next 5 days here, and as you see here, not a lot of rain, generally 1 to 2 inches. Here's the European model. You can see here it just dies out before it gets there. And as you can see there, you can see there's a decent amount of rain. Then here's the next 10 days here. You can see here the tropics are really starting to look like they're getting pretty active. Same thing for the GFS, so we're going to keep an eye on that. And let's move on to our other system here. So let's back this up here. You'll eventually start to see this pop up. Here's your low right here. It's a little bit further to the south. And again here, it's a pretty disorganized low. With that, you can see some winds with it, about 30 miles per hour. So it still has a chance of becoming a tropical storm. It's just the chances are kind of low in with it. At least about looking into this one here. What's this is the 0Z run. It seems like it kind of stays stationary there would be the worst case scenario with it. And then it kind of makes it onto land into southern Texas. That's the European model. Let's go back to the GFS here. And as you can see here, here's your low right here again. Pretty disorganized low. Seems like it kind of organized just a little bit before it makes landfall. As you can see there, just like the European model. We kind of back this up a little bit. And the winds are not really that strong either. More of a tropical depression than anything, really. So, really, the main threat from this system here will be heavy rainfall again. Probably see if it verifies from the GFS here. Let's go back it off to the next 5 days here. Next, you can see are along the coast of like Texas and portions of Louisiana. You can see rainfall amounts 3 to 4 inches in a few areas from the GFS. In the Euro, it's a little bit further south, but it's a little bit of a larger system. And you can see there, it can look like it's showing 5 to maybe up to 6 inches of rain. But we'll see about this system here. It seems like it'll be at this organized low. Bad news is it looks like it'll probably stay stationary at a certain point, which is not good. That's something we do not want. You want this system here to go by fast, so that way you don't have any flooding problems. Now, let's actually take a look and see if you guys got any drought issues. That'd be the last thing we'll be taking a look into. Take a look into the drought monitor here. It doesn't seem like southeastern Texas may need a little bit of rain from that system, but really, generally, you guys do not really have a drought right now. But some of you guys do have a little bit of a drought in southeastern Texas as well. But anyways, guys, this is all I got for you guys today. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy this tropical update. If you guys did like this update, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys got questions about this, you can put the comment section down below. I will answer your guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.